Hey there, I'm Simone. Thanks for joining me today. This class is another class all about lengthening the sides of the body. I just love these movements. I had to do another one. So check it out. It is a little bit different than the other side body lengthening class on my channel. So let me know how it feels. Grab yourself 2 blocks and a blanket, and I will meet you on the mat in a moment.
I wanted to share with you guys a poem I came across a couple weeks ago by Mark Nepo. And it really just so beautifully exemplifies how I'm feeling in this moment in time. And I think that some of you will be able to relate to this. The imagery is beautiful, and it's the juxtapose between feeling grief or sadness and also a sense of wonder and joy in life, and that the two can coexist, that it's not, if we're grieving something, it's not an exclusive emotion. Yeah. There's still beauty all around us. All right. So this is Adrift by Mark Nepo. And if you're not already sitting up on some height, go ahead and sit up on something. So you have something underneath your sitting bones rooting down, spine nice and long. If you want to close your eyes, you can close your eyes. If you want to soften your gaze, that's fine. If it's more comfortable for you to keep your eyes open, that's fine as well. All right, Adrift. Everything is beautiful, and I'm so sad. This is how the heart makes a duet of wonder and grief. The light spraying through the lace of the fern is as delicate as the fibers of memory forming their web around the knot in my throat. The breeze makes the birds move from branch to branch as this ache makes me look for those I've lost, in the next room, in the next song, in the laugh of the next stranger. In the very center, under it all, what we have that no one can take away, and all that we've lost from each other. It is there that I'm adrift, feeling punctured by a holiness that exists inside everything. I am so sad, and everything is beautiful. Letting the awareness move towards the breath. And just becoming aware of that delicate dance between the inhalation and the exhalation. As we watch that rise of energy lift us up and then root us down. Bringing our hands together in front of our heart. And we'll inhale here all together for the sound of a single Om. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling and releasing your hands. Softening the muscles around the face and in the forehead as we slowly let the eyes open. And we'll slowly, I'm going to just make my way back to my mat. If you're sitting cross-legged, I want you to go ahead and change the crossing of your legs. So go ahead and sit in the cross-legged position that feels a bit awkward, and make sure you can root your sitting bones down and lengthen the spine up. And then if your knees are feeling high, if they're above your hips, you could always take your yoga blocks to support underneath your knees. That can feel really helpful in a seated position. So sitting up nice and tall, rooting the sitting bones down towards the earth, feel this length of the spine upwards. Take the arms out to the side. And then rotate the palms to face up. Inhale, sweep the arms up and over the head, and then interlock your fingers and press the palms of the hands up towards the ceiling. And push up through the sides of the waist, firm the belly in, and even let your shoulder blades lift up towards your ears. That's it. Get taller, get longer. And then we're just going to release interlock the fingers, keep the arms lifted, taking the right hand to the floor beside you. Start to side bend over to that right side, lengthening out through that left arm and left side of the waist. Reach, 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 reach. And you can even use your right hand to just help nudge that left sitting bone back down into the earth. So we stay rooted through that left sitting bone even as we reach and lengthen that left side body. And then we'll inhale and come back up. And exhale and release the arms. Good. Give your shoulders a little roll in either direction. And then we'll take the arms back out to the sides again. Rotate the palms to face up. Inhale, lift the arms up and over the head. Interlock your fingers now the opposite way. And then press up through the palms of the hands. And let the sides of the waist lift. Let the shoulders lift. Lengthen, get longer, get taller. And then we'll slowly just release that interlock of the fingers. Keep the arms lifted. Taking the left hand to the floor beside you, start to reach that right arm up and over. And then using that left hand to help root that right sitting bone down into the earth. Really reaching out through those fingertips. One more breath here. And then we'll inhale and come back up. And exhale and release. Good. And again, you can give your shoulders a little roll in either direction. And then one more time, or actually 2 more times we're going to do this. Reach the arms out, rotate the palms to face up, sweep the arms up and over the head. This time you don't need to interlock your fingers. We're going to inhale, lengthen again. Exhale, start to rotate towards the left. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist. Take your right hand to the outside of the left knee, and then start to side bend over to the right. Now it's going to be a bit harder to keep that left sitting bone rooted here. And I want you to use your right hand to pull your breastbone through any amount. Reach up and over and try to root down that left sitting bone. Good. One more breath. And then we'll inhale and come back up. And exhale and release. Good. Little roll to the shoulders. And then other side. Arms out to the side. Rotate the palms to face up. Inhale, lengthen and lift. Root down, lift up. Start to rotate to the right. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist. Left hand to the right knee. Inhale, exhale, side bend over to the left. Good. Use your left hand to pull your breastbone through and up towards the ceiling any amount. Trying to keep that right sitting bone rooted into the floor. One more breath here. And then we'll inhale and come back up. And exhale, come back to center, release, and give your shoulders a little roll in either direction. Good. Making your way up onto your hands and your knees now. You can have your hands a little bit in front of your shoulders. We'll just start to work through some cat and cow. So inhaling to peel the chest open. Exhale, tuck the tailbone in, round, and release the head. Inhale, peel up from the tailbone, working through the rest of the spine. Open the chest. Exhale, draw the belly in, push the floor away, release the head. Good, we'll do that a couple more times. Inhale, peel the chest open, and exhale, and round. One more time. Inhale, peel the chest open, and then exhale, draw the belly in, release the head. Good, coming back towards center, we'll take it side to side now. So right shoulder, right hip, left shoulder, left hip, move closer to each other just a couple of times. And then coming back to center and working through a bit of a circular movement. So taking the rib cage over to the left, puffing up through the back, over to the right, down through the center. And we'll just work through that. And then we'll switch directions. That's it. Coming back towards center, take your knees a little bit apart, feet a little bit together. Walk your hands out in front of you with your toes tucked under. Start to sit back towards a child's pose. Good, and then take your right fingertips out to the side. Come up onto the fingertips with the elbow pointing up towards the ceiling, and walk the left hand over to that top right corner of your mat. Reaching out as much as you can, lengthening that left side body, left armpit. Push through the fingertips of the right hand, maybe even to open the chest slightly towards the ceiling. And then we'll slowly walk back towards center. And then take it over to the other side. Taking the left fingertips to the floor, elbow towards the ceiling. Reach out through that right hand, right arm, right armpit. Push the floor away, maybe the tiniest lift in the chest. And then we'll come back towards center. And inhale, come back up onto the hands and the knees. Bringing the knees back to about hip distance apart. You can take the hands now about 5 to 10 centimeters in front of the shoulders. Tuck the toes under. Keep the knees really bent as you slowly start to lift the hips up and back. Coming towards your first downward dog with bent knees. Lift up through the sitting bones, push the floor away, send the chest towards the thighs, and then go ahead and straighten out the right leg. Pausing and breathing there as if you can breathe into the back of the right thigh. And then go ahead and switch sides. And pausing and breathing as if you can breathe into the back of the left leg. And then you can do either side one more time, just keeping your sitting bones high and noticing where you are experiencing restriction in your body in this moment. Good. Lift both your heels up high. Keep pushing the floor away. Lift the right leg up and back. Step that right foot forward through the hands. Come down onto the left knee. You can always use your blanket for underneath your knee if your knees are sensitive. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Holding the left wrist lifted up, take it over towards the right. Firming the belly in, try to puff up the lower back ribs. And then we'll inhale as we come back up to center. Exhale, take the hands down to the floor to the inside of the foot. You can heel toe the foot a little bit out to the side. You could have your blocks here underneath your hands. Make your lunge a little longer. Inhale, hinge open. And exhale, hinge back. Inhaling to hinge forwards. And exhale to hinge back. And again, it doesn't matter how far you move in either direction, just bringing that hinging movement into the hips, warming up the hips. Good, just doing a couple more. Your eyes could even be closed here. Sometimes that feels really nice. Pausing when you get to the back of the next time. And then we'll walk the hands over to that right side of the right foot. Trying to keep the right toes pointing straight up towards the ceiling. Draw the right thigh bone back into your hip socket. And then we'll walk the hands back around to the front. Bend into the front knee. And now tuck your back toes under, start to straighten out your back leg. Good. Take your right hand to your right hip crease. And try to draw that right hip crease towards the back of your mat as you start to lengthen your breastbone towards the front of your mat, opening up any amount towards the right. Draw that hip crease back. Use your hand to really encourage it to go back. And then inhale, start to peel the arm up. You can reach that arm up and over the head now. And then we'll exhale. Look down. Take the hand down to the block for a moment. Put the back heel down on the floor. And then take your right forearm to your inner right side. Take your left hand to your left hip. Start to open up your chest towards the left side of your mat. Slide your left hand down your left leg and really root that left foot strongly into the floor. Rotate the palm to face the ceiling and then start to reach that left arm up and over the head. Root down through the left foot and reach through those left fingertips. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. And then we'll exhale, look down towards the floor, come to the toes of the back foot, put the blocks to the side, come down, take that left hand out in front of the left shoulder, lift the right toes up, and then we're gonna pivot so that we're on the outer edges of both of our feet, flex the ankle, push the floor away. And then we'll let the left hip release towards the floor, reach for the back foot. Inhale, lift the hips and reach over the head. Exhale, release the hips, reach for the back foot. Inhale and lift. Good, one more time. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift, pivot towards the front of your mat, and then walk your hands through center. So you're facing the side of your mat. Turn your left toes out at about a 45-degree angle. Start to bend into that left knee. Keep your right foot firmly planted on the floor, maybe feeling some sensation in the inner right thigh. And then we'll slowly walk the hands back around to the front of the mat, plant the hands, step back and come to downward facing dog. Inhale as you come forwards into plank and pause. Push the floor away, puff up that space between the shoulder blades. Take your knees to the floor. Exhale as you let your elbows bend. Inhale to straighten and exhale to hinge back. Inhale forward, exhale bend. Inhale straighten, exhale back. And we'll just work through that a few times. Trying to really coordinate the movement to the breath. So moving because we're breathing. And then we'll inhale, come forwards and all the way down onto the belly. Reach the arms out over the head. Make yourself as long as you can. Inhale as you start to peel your chest open. Draw your hands back. Find that W-shaped arm position. Sweep the hands back by the hips. And then butterfly to the front. And W-shape. Sweep the hands back. Butterfly to the front. And we'll just work through that a few times. Good, trying to keep your hands above your elbows the whole time. Good, one more. And then we'll exhale and release. Take a big breath into your belly. Exhale, press back through your child's pose. And then we'll lift up and back to downward facing dog. Lifting the left leg up and back. Stepping the left foot forward through the hands. Come down onto the right knee. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Holding the right wrist, lift it up, take it over towards the left. Firming the belly in, trying to puff up the lower back ribs. Inhale as you come back up to center. Exhale, taking the hands down to the inside of the foot. Feel free to use your blocks here. If you'd like, heel toe that front foot out to the side and make your lunge a little longer. Inhale as you hinge forward and exhale as you hinge back. And we'll just work through that hinging action. Doesn't matter how far you move in either direction. Just moving and breathing. Good. Okay, next time you come back, we'll stay there. Walk the hands over to that left side of the left foot. Draw that left thigh bone back into your hip socket. Try to keep the left toes pointing straight up towards the ceiling. And then we'll walk the hands back to the front. Bend into the front knee. Tuck the back toes under. Start to straighten out that back leg. Good, taking the left hand to the left hip crease, try to send that towards the back of your mat as you start to peel your chest open and then start to lift the left arm up towards the ceiling. Good, pausing there. And then exhale, take that hand down, put the back heel down on the floor, coming up onto the inner thigh with the forearm, take the right hand to the right hip, start to spin the chest up towards the ceiling, slide the right hand down the right thigh, rotate the palm to face up, and then start to reach that arm up and over the head. Really trying to root the right foot into the floor as you reach through the right fingertip. And then exhale as you look down, come to the toes of the back foot, put the blocks to the side, plant that right hand a little bit out in front of the shoulder, lift up the left toes, pivoting and coming to the outer edges of both feet. Flex the ankles, try to push the floor away, and then release the right hip, reach for the back foot. Inhale and lift and reach overhead. Exhale and lower. And inhale to lift. And exhale to lower. And inhale to lift. Take that hand back down. Walk through center so that your feet are pointing to the side of the mat. Turn the right toes out at 45 degrees. Start to bend into that right knee. Root that left foot solidly into the floor. Good. Slowly straightening out the right leg. Walk the hands back around to the front of the mat. Step back and come to downward facing dog. Inhale as you come forwards into plank and pause. Taking the knees to the floor. Exhale, elbows bend. Inhale to straighten. And exhale to hinge back. Inhale forward. Exhale to bend. Inhale to straighten. Exhale to hinge back. And we'll just keep working through that. And the next time we come forward, we'll come all the way down onto the belly. Reach the arms out over the head. Make yourself as long as you can. Inhale as you start to peel your chest open. Draw your hands back. Find your W-shaped arm position. Sweep the hands back by the hips and butterfly to the front. W shape, hands back, butterfly to the front. We'll do a couple more. Remember, your forehead can always be on the floor. If you want to do less of a back bend, that's totally fine. Trying to focus this work into our shoulders today. The next time you come forward, you can exhale and release. Take a big breath into your belly. Taking the hands by the lower ribs, press back through child's pose, and then up and back to downward facing dog. Bending the knees deeply, look towards your hands, step or walk your feet forward, taking your hands to your shins, peel your chest open, find your neutral spine. Exhale as you fold over your thighs, feel free to let your knees bend as much as you'd like. Inhale to come all the way up to standing, arms lift, chest lift, lengthen, look up. Keep your arms lifted. Go ahead, hold your left wrist, lift it up, take it over towards the right. Inhale, just see if you can lift your breastbone 1 millimeter towards the ceiling. And next inhalation, come all the way up. Switching sides. Inhale, lift the right wrist. Exhale, bend over towards the left. Inhale, lift the breastbone 1 millimeter. Exhale to stay. Inhale to come all the way up. And exhale to release. Good. Coming to Samasthiti at the front of your mat. Inhale as you float the arms up. Exhale as you hinge and fold. Inhale as you lengthen, peel the chest open. And exhale as you step back to plank and pause. Good. From the toes or the knees, slowly lower all the way to the belly. Keeping the hands where they are. Inhale, baby cobra. Lift the hands 2 inches off the floor. Firm the elbows in. Almost send the hands back slightly. And then take the hands to the floor. And as if you're trying to pull your breastbone through the arms, start to straighten any amount. Maybe the hips lift and you come into upward dog. Taking the knees to the floor, tuck the toes under, downward facing dog. Good. Walk your feet back 5 to 10 centimeters. Keeping the gaze towards the back of the mat, start to shift your body weight forwards, chin stays tucked. Come to the tips of the toes. And then go ahead and point your feet, slowly release your hips. Push the floor away. Upward facing dog. Tuck the chin, scoop the belly in and up, downward facing dog. Good, one more time like that. Keep the gaze to the back of the mat as you shift your body weight forward, coming up and over the toes or pointing the toes. Slowly release the hips and open the chest. Exhale, scoop the belly in, downward dog. Bending the knees deeply, look towards the hands, step or walk your feet forward. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Inhale all the way up to standing, arms lift, chest lift, lengthen, look up. And exhaling, Samasthiti, equal standing pose. Close your eyes for a moment. We'll take a deep breath in through the nose here. And exhale to release. One more, inhale. And exhale to release. Releasing the arms, open the eyes. Inhale, bend your knees, sit low, take the weight into your heels. Lifting the arms, Utkatasana. Stick out your butt, sit low. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, lengthen, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, stepping back, downward dog or vinyasa of your choice. So you could do chaturanga from the knees or toes, cobra or upward dog. Up to you. We'll meet in downward dog. Lifting the right leg up and back. Stepping the right foot forward through your hands. Inhale, sweep the arms up. High lunge. Holding your left wrist. Lift it up, take it over towards the right. Good, firm the belly in, try to puff up the back ribs. Release the wrist. See if you can take your right hand to the back of the left thigh. Just slide the hand down the thigh a little bit as you reach up and over. And then we'll inhale, come back up to center. And exhale, take the hands down to either side of the front foot on the floor or the blocks. And then we're gonna hinge back, lift the toes up, and inhale, hinge forward. And exhale, hinge back, lift the toes up, inhale, hinge forward. Exhale, hinge back, draw that thigh bone into the hip socket, inhale forward. Good, exhale, hinge back and stay. And then we'll walk the hands either on the floor or the blocks over to that right side of the right foot. Try to keep the left toes pointing straight up. Draw the left thigh bone back into the hip socket. Walking the hands back towards the inside of the foot. Bend into your front knee. If you have the block, take the block to the inside of that foot. Put the back heel down on the floor. Now firm your arm into your inner thigh. You could also come up onto your forearm, that's fine, or fingertips on the block. Start to peel the chest up towards the ceiling. Lift the left arm up, rotate through that left shoulder and reach the left arm up and over your head towards the ceiling. Good, one more breath here. And then we're gonna exhale, look down towards the floor. Plant that left hand a little bit in front of the left shoulder. You can put the block to the side. And then rotating to the outer edge of the left foot, either stepping the right foot to the middle of the mat, or right foot on top of left, or maybe even hovering that foot in the air. Good. One more breath. See if we can step the foot just behind the leg and then lift the hips a little higher and reach up and over the head. Making a big circle with the right arm, take the hand back down to the floor, step back, downward facing dog. Lifting the left foot up and back, stepping the left leg forward through the hands. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Holding the right wrist, lift it up and take it over to the left, firming the belly in, trying to puff up the lower back ribs. Inhale as you come back up to center. Exhale as you take the hands to the blocks to the floor on either side of the front foot. Exhale, hinge back, lift the toes up. Inhale as you hinge forward. Exhale to hinge back. Inhale to hinge forward. Good, we'll just do that one more time. Hinge back, lift the toes up, draw the thigh bone back, and then walk the hands either on the floor or using the blocks over to that left side of the left foot. Good, breathing there. Walking the hands back to the center. Left foot flat on the floor. Right heel down. Now, if you have the block, fingertips to the block, arm presses to the inner thigh or forearm to the inner thigh. Start to peel the right arm up towards the ceiling. Rotate through the right shoulder, reach the arm up and over the head. Root the back foot down, reach through the fingertips, lengthen the side body. And then exhale. Take the hands to the floor. You can put the blocks to the side. Plant that right hand a little further out in front of the shoulder, rotating to the outer edge of the right foot, either stepping the left foot to the middle of the mat, left on top of right, in front of, or even hover that foot a tiny bit off the floor. Okay, we're going to see if we can now step the foot behind the leg, lift the hips a little bit, and just a little bit more of a side bend here. And then big circle with that arm. Take the hand back down to the floor, stepping back, downward facing dog. Now that child's pose is always an option if you want it. Bending the knees deeply, look to the hands, step walk or float the feet forward. Inhale, lengthen, peel the chest open. And exhale to fold. Inhale, come bending the knees, sit low, arms lift, Utkatasana. And exhale, Samasthiti. Inhale, bend the knees, sit low, Utkatasana. Exhale as you hinge and fold. Inhale as you lengthen, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, stepping back, downward dog or vinyasa, your choice. Lifting the right leg up and back, step that right foot forward through the hands. Taking a block as you have it toward the outside of the right foot. Put the left heel down on the floor. Lead with the left arm. Inhale, stand right up into Virabhadrasana B. Warrior B. Hips are heavy. Sides of the waist long. You can even close your eyes here. And see if you can draw your awareness a little bit more inwards. Internalizing the experience of the asana. Rotate the palms to face up. Straighten the front leg. Lift the arms up and over the head. Heel toe that back foot in a tiny bit. Take your hands to your hips and just encourage that hip hinge. Right hip's going to come back. Left hip's going to wrap forward slightly. Start to hinge over your straight front leg. And then reach your right arm out towards the front of the mat. Spin the chest up. And then taking your fingertips either to the block or letting them just graze, kiss slightly the outer aspect of that right calf muscle. Spin the chest up towards the ceiling. Left arm lifts. Remember, the gaze can be anywhere from the floor up towards the fingertips, whatever feels best in your neck. We're going to rotate through that top shoulder, reach the arm back behind us, bend the elbow, finding the lower back, waist or hip, whatever's available to you. But see if you can encourage that right hip to keep drawing back and lengthen that right side of the waist forward. Spin the chest up towards the ceiling as you lengthen the right side body. And then we'll slowly release the left arm, take it up, reach it up and over the head. Exhale, take the hand down to the floor, put the block to the side, step back, downward facing dog. Lifting the left leg up and back. Stepping the left foot forwards through the hands, take a block towards the outside of the left ankle, put the right heel down on the floor, lead with the right arm, stand right up into Virabhadrasana B. Shoulders above the hips, hips heavy, side body long. Breathing in and out through the nose and taking an opportunity to maybe close the eyes and draw the awareness inward. Good, one more breath here. And rotating the palms to face up. Straighten the front leg, lift the arms up and over the head, hook the thumb, heel toe that back foot in a tiny bit. And then taking the hands to the hips, practicing this hinge action from the hips. Send that left hip back, right hip wraps forward. Reach through the left arm towards the front of the mat, spin the chest up, and then finding the block or letting your fingertips kiss the outer aspect of the left calf muscle. And then starting to lift the right arm up. Gaze is anywhere that feels comfortable for your neck. We're not straining any muscles in the neck. Many of us are already carrying a lot of tension there, myself included. All right, rotate through that top shoulder, reach the arm back behind you, bending the elbow, finding the lower back, waist or hip, and just encourage that hip to draw back as you lengthen the breastbone to the front of the mat. And then we'll slowly release that arm. Exhale, take the hands down to the floor, stepping back, downward facing dog. Lifting the right leg up and back. Stepping the right foot forward towards the outside of the left hand. Try to straighten that leg. Put the left heel down on the floor. Push the floor away. Lift the left arm up. And then we'll exhale. Take the hand back down to the floor. Sweep that right leg up and back. Start to open up the right hip. Pivoting on the right toes. Bend both your knees to find the floor with the right toes. And then reach up and over the head with the right arm. Lengthening side body. Bending again into both knees as you circle that arm around. Stepping back and coming to downward facing dog. Lifting the left leg up and back. Stepping the left foot forwards towards the outside of the right hand. Pause there for a breath. And then putting the right heel down on the floor. Inhale, lift the right arm up. Big circle with the right arm. Sweeping that left leg up and back. Opening up the left hip. Pivoting on the right toes, bending both knees, find the floor with the toes, and then lift the hips and lengthen side body. Again, bending into both knees, circle that arm around, step back, downward facing dog. Take the knees to the floor, sit back, and take a quick child's pose. And feel free to use one of your blocks, your blanket, for underneath your forehead, if your forehead's not comfortably reaching the floor. Slowly making your way back up onto your hands and your knees, and then back into downward facing dog. Lifting the right leg up and back. Stepping the right foot forward through the hands. Take your blocks, if you have them, out in front of you to their highest height, and then stand up into a high lunge. Step the back foot in a tiny bit. Now we're either going to take the fingertips to the blocks, or you can interlock your hands and take the palms of the hands to the front thigh. Shifting your body weight forward so it's centered over the right leg. Sweep that left leg up and back. Either fingertips to the block or palms of the hands to the front of the thigh, finding that Virabhadrasana 3 shape. Good. Now you can have a little bend in your standing knee. That's totally fine. Good. Breathing there. And then maybe if you feel stable, the hands come to the heart. Maybe they reach out to the sides. Maybe they even reach over the head. Wherever you are, one more breath. And then starting to soften into the standing leg, step way back, arms lift, high lunge. Taking the back knee to the floor. Taking the right hand to the right hip crease. Inhale, lengthen both sides of the waist evenly. And then exhale, fully draw your belly and rotate through your spine, either crossing your elbow over your thigh or just taking the back of the hand to the outside of the knee. Try to use your right hand to draw that right hip back, send your breastbone forward to the front of the mat. Maybe the hands come to a prayer position. Maybe you start to work that back leg towards straight. Breathing there. Good. Slowly releasing the arms. Take the hands to the floor. Walk the hands around to face the side of your mat. Make your feet parallel. Good. Holding your right foot with your left hand, slowly start to just pull your torso any amount towards that leg. And then take your right hand, your right thumb right into the hip crease. Try to send the hip crease back as you start to lengthen and straighten the left arm. Spin the chest open towards the right. And then we'll start to lift the right arm up and over the head. Good. One more breath here. And then we'll exhale and release. Walking the hands over to the left, holding the left ankle. Draw yourself in towards that left thigh. Taking your left thumb into your left hip crease. Send that hip crease back. And start to straighten out the right arm. Send your breastbone forwards and rotate open any amount. Your hips don't need to stay level. You can let that right hip drop. Lift the left arm, pause there. And then we'll slowly come back towards center. Little bend into the knees, peel the breastbone open. Exhale, walk the hands back towards the front of the mat, stepping back, downward dog, and pause. Taking a moment to notice the effects of the asanas in your body. And then lifting the left leg up and back. Stepping the left foot forward through the hands. Inhale, sweep the arms up, high lunge. Step the back foot in a tiny bit. And then either palms of the hands to the front thigh or fingertips are going to come to the block. But either way, shift your body weight forward so you're light on those back toes and then float the back leg up. Good. Trying to make your hips level. Flex the back ankle. You can have a little micro bend into the knee, that's fine. Breathing there, and then maybe the hands come towards the heart. Maybe they reach out to the sides. Maybe they even reach over the head. Pausing there. One more breath. Softening into the left knee, reach the left leg way back, lift the arms up. And then take your back knee to the floor. Good. Taking the left hand to the left hip crease. Inhale, lengthen through both sides of the waist. Exhaling, fully draw the belly in, either crossing the elbow over the thigh or taking the back of the hand to the outside of the knee. Good. Inhale here, draw that left thigh bone back, lengthen the breastbone forward. Maybe the hands come to prayer. Maybe you start to straighten out that back leg. Good. Slowly release the arms. Take the hands back down to the floor. Walk the hands through the center of your mat. Good. And then we'll turn the right toes out. Start to bend into that right knee. Keep your left leg straight. Try to keep the foot rooted into the floor. Pause there. You might feel a bit of a stretch in that inner left thigh. And then we're going to see if you can reach the arms out to the sides. Good. Keeping your torso more or less parallel to the floor. Good. One more breath. Take the hands to the floor, straightening the leg, point the toes straight ahead. Turning the left toes out, starting to bend into the left knee. The knees tracking over the toes. Keeping that right leg nice and straight. Good. Pausing there. And then maybe lifting the arms out to the sides. Good. Breathing deeply. Taking the hands to the floor, straighten the leg. And then walk the hands back around to the front of the mat. If your blocks are still there, just put your blocks to the side, step back, downward facing dog, and pause. And then if you'd like to take a vinyasa, you can. You certainly don't have to. Meeting back in downward dog, bending your knees, look to your hands, and then step walk or float through to sitting. Straighten your legs out in front of you. And then we're going to come and sit up on our blankets. So have your blanket, hopefully it's neatly folded, unlike mine, apparently. All right, so have your blanket folded, and then we're going to sit on the corner of it in this, with the blanket in a diamond shape. So just the tailbone is going to be supported by the blanket. The sitting bones are going to feel like they're almost falling off the blanket to either side. And then bring your legs into a Baddha Konasana shape. Good. And if your knees are sitting up really high, you could have your blocks underneath your knees for a little bit of support. Start with your hands behind you. Try to tip your pelvis forwards. Try to push your thighs down into the floor by using the strength of those outer hip muscles. You might feel also like you're trying to rip your mat in half with your feet. We're trying to pull your feet apart, but they don't actually move. Good, and then we'll go ahead and hold the feet with the hands. You can either hold the big toes with the two first fingers and thumb or hold the entire foot, whatever feels better for you. Inhale here, see if you can lengthen and lift the breastbone up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, start to hinge from your hips. Coming forwards. Eventually the elbows might come to the inner thighs. And then see if you can push the elbows down into the inner thighs and simultaneously squeeze up into the elbows. Lengthening the breastbone forward. And then we'll inhale and come back up. Exhale and release the arms. Good. Go ahead and straighten out the left leg. And then if you need to adjust your right foot, bringing your right foot maybe a little higher up into your inner thigh, and then adjust how you're sitting on the blanket. So both of your sitting bones are now supported on the blanket. You might need to move the blanket slightly to do that. Good. Flex your left ankle, draw that left thigh bone back into your hip socket. Inhale, lengthen and lift the arms up. See if you can rotate any amount towards that front foot and then start to hinge from your hips. Good. Reaching out in front of you, and then either fingertips come to the floor, or if you have your strap or towel or scarf, whatever you have, you could take that around your foot. Or if it's available to you to hold your foot, that's also fine. But whatever position your hands are in, you're using them to create traction. So lengthening the spine, tucking the chin, lengthening the crown of the head towards the big toe. Good, and then we'll inhale, come back up. Lean back, see if you can do this without using your hands. Bring that left leg back in and come back into Baddha Konasana. And then straighten out the right leg. And again, if you need to make any adjustments to your blanket or your foot, that's totally fine. You might need to support your knee with your block, that's also totally fine. We'll inhale here, lift the arms up. Exhale, try to rotate slightly towards that front leg. Draw that front thigh bone back into your hip socket, and then exhale as you start to hinge any amount over your front foot. Fingertips to the floor, the foot, or taking the strap around the ball joints of the toes. Tucking the chin, lengthening through the back of the neck and creating that sense of traction, lengthening the spine. And then we'll inhale to come back up, and we'll exhale to release. Good, you can go ahead and straighten out your legs. Give your legs a little shake. And we're gonna open our legs wide here, coming into a wide-legged position. Flex your ankles, make sure your toes are pointing straight up towards the ceiling. And then here, see if you can lift your arms up, lengthen your spine, inhale here. And then exhale as you start to hinge from your hips. Take your hands to the floor. And then either pulling your breastbone forwards, or if you feel like your sitting bones are actually getting light and coming off the floor, then push into your hands and root those sitting bones back down. Breathing deeply. Inhale as you slowly walk your hands back up. Good, we're gonna bend our right knee and take our right foot to the inner left thigh. Keeping the legs open at that same angle that they previously were in the wide-legged forward fold. And then inhale here, lengthen, lift both arms up. Exhale, start to rotate towards the right knee. Take your right hand sort of to the floor out in front of your chest. Walk those fingertips forwards as you slowly start to side bend over towards the left. You can use your right hand to pull your breastbone through and up towards the ceiling any amount. Reach up and over. Breathing there. Try to keep that right sitting bone rooted into the floor. And then we'll inhale to come back up and exhale to release. Good. Coming back towards center with the torso, see if you can do this without using the hands. Take that right leg back out. Good, bringing the left leg in. Feel free to use your hand to get that foot into the position that feels the most supportive in your body. Press the top of the foot into the floor, thighs open. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, start to rotate towards the left knee. Right hand's gonna come to the floor out in front of you. Use the hand to pull the breastbone through and up towards the ceiling as you start to side bend over to the right. Lengthening that left side. Trying to keep that left sitting bone rooted into the floor. Inhale as you come back up. And exhale as you release. Without using your hands, take that left leg back out to the side and pause here for a breath. You can even close your eyes. Good. Bringing your legs together. Give your legs a little shake. And then we're going to come to lie down on the back. Have your blanket close by within reach. You can open your feet wide. Just give your legs a little windshield wiper out to the side. Arms can be out to the sides. Good. Walking your feet back in towards hip distance. Lift your hips up. Take your hips to the left. Take your knees to the right. Taking just a gentle twist now through the spine. Arms can be out to the sides or over the head in a cactus shape, whatever feels better in your body. Maybe closing the eyes. And starting to soften here. And consciously choosing to rest, to release, to let go. And slowly coming back towards center. Lifting the hips up, take the hips to the right, take the knees to the left. Stacking the knees and the hips and just letting the chest open towards the ceiling. Letting the body be heavy. Not trying to do anything. Just allowing yourself to just be here now. And then we'll slowly start to come back towards center. Straightening out your body, making any adjustments you need as you start to come towards your Shavasana. Taking your blanket either for on top of your hips or under your head. Softening the gaze or closing the eyes. Letting the whole body be heavy and melt down into the floor. Not trying to do anything. Just allowing yourself to just be here. Absorbing the benefits of your practice. Noticing the residue that remains in your body, in your mind, and in your heart. In a moment, I will stop the recording, but I encourage you to stay in your Shavasana for as long as you can, as long as feels nourishing for you. Knowing that profound, deep rest is always, always nourishing. Now more than ever. I'd like to leave you with the words from Mark Nepo. This is Adrift. Everything is beautiful, and I am so sad. This is how the heart makes a duet of wonder and grief. The light spraying through the lace of the fern is as delicate as the fibers of memory forming their web around the knot in my throat. The breeze makes the birds move from branch to branch as this ache makes me look for those I've lost in the next room, in the next song, in the laugh of the next stranger. In the very center, under it all, what we have that no one can take away, and all that we've lost face each other. It is there that I'm adrift, feeling punctured by a holiness that exists inside everything. I am so sad, and everything is beautiful. And namaste. Thank you for sharing your practice with me this morning. Have a beautiful day.